I did not want to have to make this video until I got this comment. I wasn't even planning on making it, but they said I need to check out this video where Rick Beato talks about yacht rock. That was a comment on a video called Rick Beato Wrong Again. I didn't think it would be that bad. It's kind of half joking. It's clickbait. Then I watched the video. Let's just get into it.
I find that term yacht rock completely offensive. As a matter of fact, I've interviewed many of the people that are in the movie.
First piece of the puzzle. Rick finds the term yacht rock offensive. Why? Why does he find it offensive? What is making me think that is insane? How am I finding this insane? Just watch another 1 second clip.
These guys are amazing musicians, songwriters, and they made brilliant music back during this time.
So he's friends with these amazing musicians who made brilliant music back during this time period. Okay, that's well and good. But it's offensive to call it yacht rock for this to be a genre term or a descriptor because they're amazing and they made beautiful music. And so did Frank Sinatra, but I could call him jazz, or I could call him easy listening or 40s music, or Bach was an amazing songwriter who wrote brilliant music. It doesn't make it a pejorative. So why is it offensive? I still don't get it. If only there was more to the video that gets really insane.
What I call skit cringe, that are really cringy skits of people running around dressed in leisure suits with captain's hats and mustaches, looking ridiculous, and basically make fun of this era of music.
So the term comes from comedy skits where people are jokingly running around, hanging out on yachts. They have a vibe of being on a boat. So he sees it maybe as like, because they're joking around, it's negative and saying that this music is lame. I don't know. It doesn't really land yet. If only there was another clip.
That it cherry picks very specific songs that fit the narrative to actually make it all make sense. It pretends that all these artists and songs are exactly the same by lumping together all these nuanced styles.
Okay, this is where it gets insane. So the reason we learned good. The reason it's offensive to say yacht rock is because you're describing musicians with different styles. And you're describing where they overlap in style. Let's use the word grunge. Nirvana, a lot of their stuff, you could say like About a Girl by Nirvana, right? People say that's like a Beatles song. It's like a dark Beatles song that's kind of punky. That's in the same genre as Soundgarden, who has like proto-prog funk rock songs. Let's just take a look. Rusty Cage has like prog rhythms in all sorts of weird time signatures and stuff, and so do a lot of their songs. And then one of their earliest songs, Fop, is a cover of literally Ohio Players, who Roller Coaster of Love is a funk band. The funk band. It's funk and rock, and then they have prog rock. Nirvana doesn't sound like prog rock or funk, but somehow it's lumped in the same genre. Wait, it's like a nuanced style. It's like those bands have nuanced styles and they're lumped in together. Is that offensive to call it grunge? No. I mean, if it is, it doesn't. I don't get why. Let's do another example. Really hard examples to come up with these. Listen to "The Exorcist" by the metal band Possessed. Possessed. Or "I Only Worship What You Bleed" by the Black Dahlia Murder. The Black Dahlia Murder, once again, another metal band. So we got Possessed and Black Dahlia Murder. Okay, listen to those two. And then listen to "I Don't Want Nothing But a Good Time." Nothing But a Good Time. And Unskinny Bop by Poison. And see if those things, they're both metal. What? Oh, wait, they sound like nuanced styles that are very different from each other? But no, they're both called metal, so that's offensive. What? This is every genre. Every genre has talented musicians who are grouped with other musicians, even though they have nuanced different styles. What are you talking about? Do you think Megadeth and Metallica sound the same? Even thrash metal, one specific like big four. Literally, there's 4 bands: Anthrax, Slayer, Metallica, Megadeth. Metallica and Megadeth and Slayer don't sound alike. They sound different. Anthrax sounds the most different. This is such an insane argument. It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense. It almost seems like Rick's just offended and he has a lot of emotions and he just doesn't like the term yacht rock because I can't even figure out why. I can't even figure out why. I I literally can't. I literally can't. That's a feature of most genre labels is that they talk about the general vibe or aesthetic that connects all of the disparate artists. It's not the idea is not that Nirvana sounds like Soundgarden, sounds like I don't know, Stone Temple Pilots. I'm blanking. I'm not a big grunge head. Pearl Jam. They don't. Pearl Jam doesn't sound like. Pearl Jam. Eddie Vedder doesn't sound like Kurt Cobain. I wanna break my heart. I wanna break my rusty cage. Yeah, that doesn't sound like Kurt Cobain. That doesn't, and no one thinks it's supposed to. They're nuanced, they're different, but the overlap, that's what you call the genre is the overlap. What do you think a genre is? What do you think a genre is? What are we talking about? And this is the thing that's insane. Rick, you know this, Rick. Rick knows this. Rick was a music producer and he's been a professor. He's been playing guitar. He's been in the music industry. So either he's just trying to I can't even tell because his friends don't seem offended except for Donald Fagen or whoever, like the one guy who refused to be in this documentary. First off, I think most people who aren't I think this is the big disconnect. He's talking about from my generation, we listened to these albums and they were awesome. And we thought this was really hard rocking and cool. And it's like, that's great. Nothing wrong with that. Younger people found out about it as yacht rock. They found out about it this way. They're enjoying something that you enjoyed one way. They're enjoying it a different way. And there's nothing wrong with that. They don't need to enjoy it the same way you do. But that's causing friction. No, you're enjoying it wrong. How dare you enjoy it the way you're going to enjoy it? You need to enjoy it the way I enjoyed it. And now my friends did, and we did, and now we're old and I need to yell. What? What are you doing, Rick? You need to do better. You need to do better. Rick, I love your videos. I don't want to have to make this video, Rick. But this doesn't, what is this? What is this argument? No, okay. What is the argument? I know I'm talking in circles now. I'm not even talking in circles. I wrote my notes down. Actually, they go linearly, but I mean pseudo, like branching off like a tree. Woo, 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 woo. Rick, you're better than this. This is stupid. You don't like the term? You don't like the term? Let's see. Okay, yeah. You're gonna see he doesn't like the term. I watched the video because this was so insane. I had to write down the parts that we need to go to. How about it's 7 minutes, 28 seconds, 7 minutes, 32 seconds. Let's take a look at 7 minutes, 28 seconds. And let's just get a little taste of his chief complaints. I literally only have 4 or 5 things you need to hear from this video, but they're just so because he dances around it. He adds fluff like here's an interview of me talking to one of the guys I'm referencing. And look, isn't it cool? The fact that it's cool doesn't because you think all these yacht rock songs are cool and the musicians are good, it doesn't mean that it's offensive to call it yacht rock. And so when he does state his points, it's so clear that, and you're just like, if I just snip together the points and none of the fluff, you just go, what are you talking about? So we're going to see that. We're going to see that right here.
We all listened to this record a million times. Never once did we think this is soft rock or whatever they're trying to call it.
Never once did we think, we've listened to this record a million times. A million. You maybe once. Me maybe 100. But us, old people, we've listened to it a million times because we've been around since, before the universe, before creation. Whether you think God did it, whether you think there was some Big Bang, doesn't matter. Rick was there. They all were listening to these records over and over. And they didn't think, this is soft. This is soft rock. Okay, this is soft rock. Rick Beato quote, this is soft. This is not soft rock. I'm going to fact check it right now. False. It's soft. Let's see what I wrote down. It's soft. That's not a pejorative or something or a negatively charged descriptor. It's just accurate. It's soft. There's nothing wrong with that. Let me give you some great examples. A lot of indie rock is soft rock. Look at the entire Smiths catalog. But even if you're like, okay, well, that's like more like, that's like not really like this, kind of like a rock band as much. It's more like very vibey and chill. They don't have that breadth from chill to like more upbeat and high energy. Okay, then let's use some examples from indie rock that do. Here's a great one. Soft rock is not a pejorative, it's a descriptor. See, Telescope off of Melophobia, KG Elephant's third record, versus Sell Yourself, also by KG Elephant, off their second record, Thank You, Happy Birthday. Listen to Telescope. For a telescope I see, it walks and talks and looks like me. Better do you understand? Nowhere left to turn. What's keep waiting? Time is like a leaf in the wind. Either it's time well spent or it's time well wasted. Don't waste it. It's soft and beautiful, and it has a cool guitar solo. It's still a soft rock song to play on a yacht when you're sailing in Mykonos on the yacht. It's the kind of song I put on Melophobia and Tell Me I'm Pretty, albums 3 and 4. Look, I count. The new model of Condor comes with counting, robust counting features, and I can count to albums 3 and 4 of KG Elephant's discography. And guess what? These are records that came out in my decade. Growing up as a kid and as an early 20s, I've listened to these millions of times, just like you and the other dinosaurs. That's what a pterodactyl turns into over time. You think it's this big, scary pterodactyl, and then you listen back to it 100 million years later, and you go, oh, it was just a chicken. It was just soft rock. This was not hard rock. There's no way that you think this sounds like Black Sabbath. There's no way you think like, I wrote Killing Yourself Today by Black Sabbath off of Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. Go listen to Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. Go listen to the song. That's the record and a song. But also go listen to Killing Yourself to Live. It's also 25 and 6-4 by Chicago. It's the same exact chorus. And Brain Stew by Green Day. The kind of sheep but running low. On my own, here we go. It's the exact same thing. That's beside the point. The whole point is, I was listening to these albums, these KG Elephant albums, and these are the ones, 3 and 4, Melophobia and Tell Me I'm Pretty. Tell Me I'm Pretty. I'm straight, but $20 is $20. Anyways, that was unimportant, but Tell Me I'm Pretty and Melophobia are soft rock records, and they're great. And now Teeth off of like Melophobia, yeah, it's not a soft song. And there's songs in there that are more upbeat, but like these are soft like rock records that I play when I'm in the car with my grandma and I want to listen to music that I like that also won't make her go, oh my God, the devil, I need to kill my grandson. That's what you play, soft rock. I play friggin' Donald Fagen. You play Steely Dan. This is what you play. I'm not playing Slipknot or Deicide or Possessed or the Black Dahlia frickin' Murder. I'm not even playing friggin' Bongzilla. I'm not doing that with grandma sitting in the front seat. You know why? Because it's not soft rock. But guess what? Wait a minute. Melophobia It's like one of the greatest rock records of all time. But wait, it's soft rock. Yeah, like most of every single good band from the 2000s and the 2010s made a soft rock record. Every band who had a harder, more aggressive, listen to, I guess this is a bad example. Who cares? Oh no, good example. Go listen to Arctic Monkeys. First record, rocks really hard, super punky. Second record, rocks really hard, super punky. Third record, getting softer. Fourth record, soft elements of hard punk. By the time you get to Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino, which I can't even remember, it's their sixth record. Their sixth record. Guess what? It's phenomenal. It's an amazing record. Know what it's not? Anything like a hard rock record. It doesn't sound like Motley Crue. Doesn't even sound like the first Arctic Monkeys record. Doesn't sound like Slipknot. Doesn't even sound like the Killers. The Killers are like soft rock. Doesn't even sound like that. It's soft music, and it's really good. Would you look at that? It's not a pejorative. It's a descriptor. That's the whole point. These are two of Cage the Elephant's greatest songs. One is soft, and the other is abrasive, artsy, and punk and dissonant. Steely Band, in general, is soft rock, which is not a bad thing. They are smooth and laid back. That does not mean that they are simple or their compositions and their musicianship is trivial and not novel. It merely denotes the difference in the mood of the listener, the vibe. This is what genre, this is what music does. So we often think, and we've got this, I think there's a little bit of labor theory of value that seeps into this whole conversation. This idea that, oh, well, because it took a lot of hard work, it took very skilled people, or it was very good, like that means quality, right? And then there's on the other side, we're conflating like hard rock versus soft, chill versus intense, meaning like good versus bad. Like when you're looking at the input, like this is what went in to create it, or I guess I'll flip it for you guys. So it's going this way for you. This is what went in. We had great musicians put stuff in, right? Great musicianship in. We should get the listener liking it on this side of the friggin' portal of music being played. But that's not what happens. Me as a listener, I don't go, do I hear musicianship? Oh my God. I go, how does it make me feel? Does it put me in the mood I want to be in? Music is a mood altering drug. I believe Jesse Cannon from Musformation is the one who said that. Maybe it was even Finn McKenty. Oh no, for the punk rock NBA. Music to the listener functions as a mood altering drug. I'm a musician. But I know when I go to the gym and I need to max out on my bench press, do you think I'm putting on Telescope by Cage the Elephant? Or do you think I'm putting on I Only Worship What You Bleed, or I Worship Only What You Bleed? Sorry, I misspokenth. Mispathinketh. I misspoke. I Worship Only What You Bleed by Black Dahlia Murder is what's going on in my headphones. Now, why is that? It's because I wanted to alter my mood appropriately for the task I'm doing. So if I'm driving my yacht, I'm in Mykonos, I'm on the yacht, I got some guitars. Me and the boys, we're excellent musicians, we're brilliant songwriters. I'm not playing death metal. It's Mykonos. Look at the sun. Barbados. I'm not doing death metal. I'm doing yacht rock. Sorry, you know it. I know it. Are we gonna sit here and act like we're gonna be on the yacht hanging out? I mean, listen to this. You're on the yacht, you're hanging out, and you're like, yeah, death metal. That's maybe someone, maybe one of you, maybe you are doing that. But even you're the exception. Most people who aren't musicians, they don't even perceive musicianship. That's not a factor that goes in. They couldn't even tell you good musicianship from bad musicianship if they tried. And that's the thing is, that's part of like the story and like the story of music that makes it cool for us as fans. But like the other part of that and the more dominant part is, does it actually get you in the headspace you want to be in? Does it get you at the vibe you want to be resonating at? Your energy level, your vibrations. Meep, 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 meep. I'm vibrating. Meep. I don't even know, but that's my interpretation of vibration. Let's see. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Here we go. Let's just play on it.
Yacht rock. This is nothing played on a yacht. This is stuff played by fusion musicians, the best musicians in the world.
Bro! This is not music played on a yacht. This is music played by the best musicians in the world. What are you talking about? This is music. Okay, first off, incorrect. This is music that you are listening to on a yacht. Also correct. These can be some of the best musicians in the world. I'm going to make this crystal friggin' clear. Does this statement by Mr. Beato not imply that he believes the worse musicians are, the more likely people are to want to listen to them when they're on a yacht? Let's say that again. He goes, this is nothing played on a yacht. This is played by the greatest musicians in the world. That implies that you believe that the worse a musician is, the more likely people are to go when they're on a yacht to say, man, I really want to listen to them. The worse a musician is, the more likely people are to want to hear them playing when they're on a yacht. What are you talking about? You see how ridiculous that is? You see, let's one more time. I'm not going to actually make you listen one more time. Me saying that. But just kidding. No, but like the worse a musician is, the more someone wants to listen to them on a yacht. It's once again, it's just this thing that like he feels it's diminutive or it's somehow dismissive. It doesn't make any sense. And here's the thing. Let's be frank. I mean, I think this is what we're really getting at is, if it was the early 2000s, you were playing Call of Duty, you were on Xbox Live, and someone was in the chat, Xbox Live chat, you're gaming. If you were playing any of these songs, they'd be calling it a 3-letter word that begins with G, ends with Y, and is 1 letter different from the word gray. And they don't mean that it's happy. They're going to call this music that word. You know why? Because I think fundamentally rock and roll, it means different things to different people. And I think to musicians, they can have one feeling about what rock and roll means. But to most people, rock and roll means one thing. It means loud, crazy, and it makes you say, F it, let's effing go. It's Deadpool. It's that thing. It's Wolverine. It's F you, I'm winning. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger ripping his shirt off in the friggin' fighting the Predator. It's a guy fighting a bear with his bare hands and ripping it apart. It's Jason Statham single-handedly killing a megalodon. That's rock and roll. It's not soft inherently to most people, to the listener. And so maybe you're right, we should have a different word. But I don't think you want that, because the word would be lame. If we put it up to a vote of the people, the listeners, the consumers of music, not the super nerds, the people who are watching, every video about Donald Fagen did this, Donald Holdsworth did this. No one cares. No one cares. No one's going to, because honestly, it's like when professors are writing about, it's like if you've seen the Berklee College of Music Jazz Jam, and it's the faculties, it's all the professors playing, and it's just esoteric nonsense that no one ever wants to listen to, ever, because it's lame. No one cares. And I'm sorry, and I think that's the real thing. I've danced around it the whole video because I wanted to just attack what he's saying. But if we're going to, because, okay, the last clip, he goes, I just don't like the word. And bro, you don't like the word. Bro, you made this whole video because you don't like the word, and you didn't just say, I don't like the word. They're great musicians. This is great music. It's not soft. It's great music. They're great musicians. It's soft. All three of those can be true. Yacht rock lumps in a bunch of things together that, have their own nuances. Every genre. Every genre. It comes from a skit. Go talk to Creed. Go talk to Mark Tremonti. Do you think he cares that everyone calls Creed divorced dad rock? Everyone under the age of 40. Sorry, caveat. Big caveat. Everyone under the age of 40 calls it divorced dad rock. Well, that's a pejorative. No, we're just not as self-serious as the older people. We like to have fun. The world is so serious. I'm going to call it divorced dad rock. I'm going to call it butt rock, and then listen to it and love it. Look at this photograph. Every time I do it makes me laugh. We don't take ourselves as seriously. And yacht rock's a nice name for this because most people would just call it lame or something that most people would consider homophobic. And I'm telling you, I'm not telling you what you want to hear. I'm telling you what you need to hear. I'm not telling you what you want to hear. I'm telling you what you need to hear. I'm telling you the truth. People would call it GAY. They'd call it lame. You're lucky they're calling it yacht rock. I'm just going to cut it straight, Rick. You're lucky they're calling it yacht rock. For real. You're lucky rock's in the name. I've talked to so many old guys who are like, yeah, dude, like Kid Charlemagne, dude, like Steely Dad, it's so cool. It's oh my God, it's cringe. It's cringe. Let's just play the last clip. Let's just play it. I'm not even doing this with you. 9:42.
Problem with the yacht rock documentary. I don't like the term yacht rock. I wish people would never use that, and I won't use it again on this channel after this.
He doesn't like the word. Great. Just to make sure we got that in writing from Rick. And let's see the last point.
Other people that they tried to lump in there. And I love Michael McDonald. But Michael McDonald doesn't even belong in that conversation. He's in a conversation on his own and was an incredibly important part of so many of these records. Amazing. One of the best singers of that era.
Rick is spending his time glazing Michael McDonald. Meanwhile, we have an imploding rock scene and genre, and like we're reeling from the decline and just the total implosion of the record industry. Rock is like dying. It's like a fringe thing. It's underground and like trying to boil up and then getting suffocated by the boot of existential dread of everyday life. And you're out here glazing Michael McDonald. You're out here glazing Michael McDonald. Glazing, Rick, is when you're buttering him up. You're really getting him oiled up. It's kind of saying like you're out here like praising and like trying to glorify some other dude from the 80s who sang music. Like, we have better things to be doing. You have better things to be doing. You do. I know you're doing this time capsule thing where you interview these famous people, and that's great. That's great. How about instead of the second Maynard interview, it's going to sound crazy, instead of selling a guitar course and getting people better at guitar, you actually help people make good rock records. Get good album art. Promote it. You teach people. You give back. You do a once a month live stream Zoom call. Once a week, you do a Zoom call. for 2 hours. You have bands come on. Get free live coaching. You know, you take callers. You do something to help. But this is insane. Complaining about the term yacht rock. It's lame music. I like it, but I mean, I like Telescope by Cage the Elephant. But those are lame records. Like, I don't know. I guess lame is a little harsh. But they're soft rock for certain. It's soft music. It's chill music. I like chill music. But it's insane to be complaining that people are calling this music yacht rock when you have all of the resources and connections to open source how to make these insanely great records and do these things, and like how to bring back rock and help people pioneer the next age, the next generation of music, and you're out here glazing Michael McDonald for his vocal performance. What was the best record that Michael McDonald put out in the last 5 years? What's the best song he's put out? No, seriously, I'll wait. Oh, what? Wait, he had. No, you're kidding. He's just some old guy who hasn't done anything useful in like decades? What? But wait, Connor, you could say that about any rock star. I know, and there's nothing wrong with that. The whole thing is we don't need to sit here and talk about how great Brian May is if I'm friggin', let's say, how about this? How about I'm Joe Rogan? Let's take an example. I'm Joe Rogan, and this is comedy. This isn't Rick Beato and rock or Connor O'Farrell and rock. This is Joe Rogan, and it's comedy. I don't have any young comedians on, and when I do, I have them on like once every like 3 years. I'm saying like, let's say you have a younger person on, but only that actually. If anything, I'm just going to bring on someone who's already famous. Um, I can't even do this. Okay, Joe Rogan. What Joe Rogan did is he would bring on young comedians who are really good that no one knew about, and he would be like, "I love your stuff and I love your work, and I think if people got exposed to you and your personality, the people in my audience who like it, that could help jumpstart your fan base and jumpstart your career." And then people go and listen to their podcasts. Now their podcasts are getting enough listens such that they can make an extra, they can make a full-time living off of it. So now that artist, that up-and-coming unknown artist, gets an extra 40 hours a week to work on their art, and they have a fan base there already in touch with them. So, though it's small, they now have this 40 hours a week they're spending getting better and better and better at their craft, getting exponentially better than they were before, and they're publicizing it instantly. It's getting publicized to their existing, already substantial audience, and then they tell all of their friends, share the clips, and then boom, now this person is a mainstay, and they have their own show, similar to Joe Rogan in the sense that they can now put other people on the map and give them the opportunities and do this. If instead of Joe doing that, he just sat there and talked about, oh, Seinfeld had some great jokes once. Man, Seinfeld, really good. That show, really awesome. Imagine if that was Joe Rogan's entire impact. I'm talking about art. I'm not talking about politics. We're not doing that. I'm right about everything, so it's a waste of time to discuss it. You're going to get hurt with your feelings and whatnot. We're not doing it. But I know, I know, I love you. Whatever you believe, I believe too. Come on. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I'm not. No, but with the whole comedy thing, I'm not kidding. If he just sat there and was like, man, Seinfeld. Oh, no, if he went, he complained. He said, people are calling it one-liner stand-up. They're calling it whatever. I can't even think of a friggin' example right now because it's so ridiculous. Because people in comedy just, I don't know why. Maybe it's because musicians, we have this self-serious thing. And like, I'm the writer, I'm the poet, I'm the artist, I'm the tortured artist. It's an art, it's a talent, it's cultivated, it's refined. And even though the comedians do the exact same thing, it's an art, it's a talent, it's cultivated, it's refined, they don't have this immense ego inflated about it. And it's weird too because the ego goes where it doesn't even make sense for it to be. Like at least Kanye had made tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of hits. I'm a rock guy. I don't go and listen to a ton of Kanye, but every time I do, it's incredible because it's really good. And so like that's like an example where you're like, I can't get where the ego is coming from. Joe Rogan's a funny comedian, at least in my opinion. I really like the special he did where he's like, the United States is 3 people old. 3 people. We don't know what we're doing at all. and I forget, that was like maybe a couple of years ago he put that special out. And it's not even political, but it's just like he said funny stuff. I was like, oh, this guy's a great comedian. Like 8 out of 10. I'm like, banger. I would say over like going to a random comedian, if I know I'm going to see Joe Rogan do stand up, I'm like, it's going to be at least an 8 out of 10. It's just going to be better. But he doesn't have a huge ego. Like, well, he does have a huge ego because he'll speak his mind. You're like, no, it's someone confident who doesn't care what you think. That's different from like being Kanye, where you're like, I am holier than thou, and this is the sacred art. And kind of what Beato's doing here, glazing Michael McDonald for like an hour. He glazed him for 5 seconds, but still, it's like, we got bigger fish to fry. This is the right. If you actually care about rock, help rock. Help bridge the gap. Like, they talk about income inequality. No one's talking about shredflation. Huh? Yeah, there's nothing impressive to shred anymore. Because everyone can shred. Or everyone who goes viral can shred, so now everyone feels like they can shred. Huh? Now everyone feels like everyone else can shred. But they can't. Oh, no! Why can't I shred? Man! It's just ridiculous. We got better stuff to do. In summary, this is insane. This whole video is insane. You shouldn't be. Yeah, no. This is just. I'm upset that the kids are interacting with these albums a different way than I did. Dude, come on, Rick. I like your videos. That's the thing. Like, if you were like, do you like Rick like as a guy? Although it's a parasocial relationship, he has no idea who I am. Just kidding. He calls me every night. Huh? This is a video just for Rick. You'll see it on our text thread. No, it's crazy because you're like, Rick, I like you as a guy. We're good friends. We go back years. No, but Rick, like, just I like you, Rick, but this is insane. You go out here glazing all of these famous people and interviewing them, which is good, which is great, and I respect the hustle. But then you hop on a video to criticize kids. These are the only people who are going to listen to any of this music, by the way. The people who call it yacht rock and who hear about it being called yacht rock are going to be like, oh, that's cool. I want to listen to it and check it out. I am not that person. I don't listen to much Steely Dan because I don't think it's cool. I think it's lame. It sounds lame. It's soft. I barely fell in love with Melophobia and the other Cage Elephant records, but they're just so catchy and good that it works. And Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino by Arctic Monkeys, I'm not going to sit out here and glaze that record and be like, it belongs in a record of its own. It's a league of its own. Michael McDonald's so good. Bro, what are we doing? If you're about rock, help rock. Don't make an insane video. Criticize. We have a problem. There's the fans of rock and there's the bands. These are all the young fans, the young bands. And they're not meeting each other. They don't know how to find each other. If only you could platform them or coach them or do anything to help them. There's no record labels or things that help you do all the stuff now. It's you do it by yourself in your bedroom and you make all the mistakes yourself and no one tells you that's bad. Just no one listens. And then everyone thinks I need to keep getting better at guitar. I need to buy this guitar in this music theory course when really they need to get better at marketing. It's like a pipe, giant pipe with water flowing through it. Your marketing, it's like 7 out of 10 centimeters wide. You can make it wider, or your music ship, how good you are at music. Even if you're at a 5 out of 10, like, oh, it's like, okay, this is a 5 out of 10 mix, mixing, mastering, songwriting, singing, performing. It's a 5 out of 10. It needs work, but tiny 0.1 out of 10 is your marketing. No one cares about you. No one knows about you. This is the reality as a rock musician. Me, I've had a band last 6 years. Record. Go listen. Black Licorice. It's very early Arctic Monkeys type of sound. Not the point. Point is, 5 out of 10 music, 0.1 out of 10 marketing. And so at the outcome, here's all the love you get from people who love you and love your music. Look at that. Drip, drip, drip. None. No one cares. Your life's going nowhere. Nothing's happening. Will it ever? Why would it? Hasn't yet. That's the reality down here on the ground floor, where musicians are. Rock, the people keeping alive the thing, the people who go and find the good Alan Holdsworth music and actually get people to go listen to it, instead of giving them some esoteric song. Bro, tell them to go listen to UK, the band he had with friggin' Terry Bozzio and a bunch of other like icons, except they actually wrote really good music instead of writing just like esoteric shred jazz. You need to do better. You need to do better, Rick. That's my Joey Swole impression. He says it to people when they're filming in the gyms, trying to make fun of each other. You take a video of someone in the gym, go haha, and post it, and then Joey Swole, he shows up unannounced and goes, "You shouldn't have posted that. You need to do better. You need to do better. Rick, you need to do better. This is life. This is life as a hard rockin', mother flipper. This is what's going down with the kids, with the people, you know what I'm saying? What are you doing? Don't be doing that. Anyways, this is insane. It's insane. My name's Connor. That's my band, Black Licorice. I have a website called newrockdynasty.com. It's a place where bands can sell their merch, have like a fan club. Other bands have their fan clubs. If you're on there, you can see what everyone's posting. You can see what just the bands you follow are posting. There's no algorithm. There's no bots. There's no disinformation. There's no one on there even. There's literally no one. It's me and like my test accounts I made to make sure the site works. But you can sell your shirts and stuff, and it's an actual place to talk to your fans, so you don't need to make a Patreon or an email list or try and fight the Instagram algorithm or the YouTube algorithm. It's like once you do get a fan, like funnel them over so you can actually talk to them, not get swept into the friggin' stream of the ocean and drowned under the undertow. It's just like, don't do that stuff. Don't. Just go to newrockdynasty.com, make an account, post whatever you want. Even if you're a fan, you just want to talk about music, go there, post it. Because basically, as bands join and they bring all of their followers over, it's going to become this home of rock on the internet. And so if you get there first and you start posting stuff first, you're going to have the advantage. Anyways, that's my thing. That's what I do. My mission, I'm 22, bring back rock, make Rockstar a career, make it viable. I want to build my platform, my videos, my podcast, everything big, so we can actually have people on, be like the Rogan of rock. What Rogan did for comedy, I want to do for rock, because I think the podcast era and the content creation era is the next era of rock. I think we're going to see a crazy, insane resurgence in rock, and it's going to be awesome. But it's not going to happen from complaining about yacht rock. It's just not. It's also not going to happen from like going from an 8 out of 10 on guitar to a 9 out of 10 on guitar, or even a 6 to a 9. It's none of that none of that stuff is going to be what does it. We need to start coming together, collaborating, and sharing knowledge and growing together and platforming each other. We need to stop drowning into the ocean of social media. We need to stop having bands where they post like 1 or 2 TikToks, and like even if they get 90,000 followers, silver bullet. I love you, John Kelly. You guys are great. But does it always translate into ticket sales? I don't know. Because those are followers. They're not seeing, they're seeing your viral posts. The algorithm's blocking it. It's like, if you had them on a website where they just see what you post and you can just talk to the people who really care, because maybe you do have 1,000 fans that are willing to spend $100 on you per year, and that's $100,000. And as a solo musician, that's enough to make a whole living. But maybe all 1,000 of those people don't live in the same place. They're not going to go out to 10, $20 to $30 ticket gigs 10 times a year. And then you're going to net $10 from each, or maybe one or two buys a shirt. Still, you only make $10 off the shirt. They each need to buy 10 shirts. Like, we just need to adapt. We just need to get these things happening. We need to make things happen. This is so important. If you care about rock at all, if you do, because if not, it's going to go the way of the dinosaur, and there will be no one talking about rock for you to even complain about. Instead, just rock won't be here, and no one will be listening to it. I mean, the old stuff back in the olden days, they used to do that thing, rock, yeah. And there's like one or two people, like, Olivia Rodrigo does rock now. That's the only rock star. And I don't have a problem with that because I like Olivia Rodrigo and I like all of her rock songs. But like, if we're in the state where the only good rock music coming out is like Olivia Rodrigo's Afterthought, and that's Rick Beato's legacy, is like, I documented a bunch of stuff. What are we doing? Like, this is the whole total like detached Hollywood phony thing where it's like the instant you get in with a crowd, you just start like tucking your tail. I'm at least grateful that Justin Hawkins, who's got 1 million subscribers on YouTube from the darkness, who toured with Metallica and whatnot, he's a proper rock star, but he'll go on a podcast and he'll talk about why he thinks Red Hot Chili Peppers suck. Like for 30 minutes or whatever. I don't know if I agree with that. But the fact that I'm like, oh, this dude will go out here and be like, yeah, they suck. Like, that's crazy. But it also tells me, like, bro's not out here just, like, lying about what he likes. You know what I mean? He's not out here trying to, like, be in with people. And I feel like at a certain point, like, you just get so detached. He's not detached. He's like, I'll say whatever the hell I'm thinking. I don't like it. I think it's stupid. I think everyone glazes the Red Hot Chili Peppers. It's like, okay, if that's his opinion, like, that's not someone who's trying to suck up to the industry when Red Hot Chili Peppers is like the biggest rock band, or one of them, right? You're like, that's not a guy who's trying to like, not ruffle any feathers. But like, Rick Beato, I need to white knight and defend yacht rock. Meanwhile, like, rock's crumbling. I mean, this is insane unless you just want to like hang out with like famous people and like talk to Tool one more time. Or like, I want to keep talking to Tool. I like Tool. I like Maynard. I grew up in Arizona. My cousins live in Camp Verde, Arizona, which is right next to my cousin who lives in Camp Verde, works in Cottonwood, Arizona, which is 5 minutes from Jerome, which is where Maynard lives. His vinery. Cottonwood's where he's got his friggin' jiu-jitsu school and his restaurant and stuff. Like, I have plenty of reasons to glaze these people and glaze these things, and I will. I like glazing the people I like, and nothing wrong with that. But if I'm going to glaze them, it's only going to be so that I can bring attention to the cause and rally the rockers and unite the people who actually want to bring back rock, who actually want to have a career as a rock star, who want to support rock stars and see rock make a resurgence so that there's good music. It's not just Olivia Rodrigo when she feels like making a song, or AC/DC touring until they're like literally 400 years old, revived by Dr. Frankenstein. Like, the only time I'm going to glaze people is to get to them, is to get people to the cause, to get attention so I can get the people. I'm making this video, first off, because this was insane. This was ridiculous. This was totally insane. This is insane. I take offense to the term because they're amazing musicians, songwriters that make brilliant music. Cool. So is Sinatra and Bach. Calling them jazz and calling them classical doesn't then become derogatory because they're good musicians. What? It comes from a YouTube comedy sketch, and because they're not serious, that means it's derogatory. That's just stupid. Cherry pick songs from artists with distinct nuanced styles. Every genre does that. This is not soft rock. False, it is soft. 4, this is nothing played on a yacht. Incorrect, this is exactly what people listen to on a yacht. Hence why they called it. See, this is the thing. Telling people how they should enjoy listening to music is insane. That is the thing. And not like, no, I gave you my recommendation, and I think this is the way I would recommend someone try and get into this record, get into this band, right? I might, people go like, oh, no, you got to listen to the Black Album first, and then you listen to Ride the Lightning, and then you listen to Master of Puppets, and then you listen to And Justice for All. Like, that's how you got to get into Metallica. Or like Megadeth, like, oh, no, you got to start with the first record. Like, there's something doing that, and that's very different from saying, I can't believe you listened to the Black Album first. What is wrong with you? No one's listening to the Black Album first. This is not music listened to by people first. This is nothing played on a yacht. People are listening to it on the yacht, and or when they're thinking about going on a yacht, they go, oh, this is exactly what I want to put on my playlist, so when I'm on the yacht later, I've got the appropriate music. People decide how they want to enjoy art. Well, this movie was not meant to be watched on a 4-inch phone screen. They're watching it there. What are you doing? You're yelling at the clouds. Rick, you have insane, intense knowledge and insight and brilliance and impact and connections, and you're an extremely impressive man who's done tons of impressive things. And you have the opportunity to change the face of rock and help us go from this point where rock is like dying and just waiting to pop back up and be viable again. And that could take like 5-10 years and like slowly happen as Connor Farrell's the only one who thinks to friggin' grab a podcast mic and start talking to people and trying to interview people and bring it back. And so it takes me friggin' 5 years having to bootstrap it with the people, hanging out who are nice enough to follow and go on newrockdynasty.com, or me trying to get a miracle to happen at some point to speed that process up. Or how about you do it? Do you really want the history books to say Connor O'Farrell, the king of rock, brought back rock. He resuscitated it from friggin' life support. He's the only one who could have done it. Rockers unite. He brought back New Rock Dynasty. He was crazy. He was a visionary. He was the Steve Jobs of rock and roll, and Rick Beato was just the guy saying that computers are a fad. Do you want that to be what it says in the history book? Or do you want it to say Rick Beato was the man who brought back rock? Connor O'Farrell had some band with a couple hits, I think. He had a cool festival, but it's, nothing like what Rick Beato, the Steve Jobs of rock, did. Connor O'Farrell is like one of those guys who made like Nokia phones of the BlackBerry. Like, he did something. We all know, but like, it's not Apple. No one's going like, oh, BlackBerry. Oh my God, BlackBerry? BlackBerry? No one's doing that. They're going, oh, Apple. It's Apple. That's what's happening. So, steal my thunder. But it's insane where the priorities are at. That's all I'm saying. We have a crisis. We have a crisis on Infinite Earths. There we go. I have the poster. I'm not taking that off the wall to show you, but I have a poster of Crisis on Infinite Earths. Which one is that? Number 4? Is it the first one? Wait, no. What Crisis on Infinite Earths? That's a DC comic big event storyline, the same way the Avengers had like Endgame and Infinity War. DC, if they make the movies, they would have Crisis on Infinite Earths. Anyways, the whole reason to say is we have a crisis on all the infinite Earths of rock. Like, we do not want all the knowledge of the old people that are aging up to disappear and not get transmitted on to the young people. That's important. That's good. But we need to actually help the young people. This is the thing that everyone complains about with the older generation. There's like a graph of like cost of living, and it just does this from like the 70s, and it doesn't slow down ever as like a percent of income or whatever. It's like from like 3% to like literally like 60% or whatever. And then it's like wages go from like 2% or whatever. I don't even know what it was. It was percents of something. But it's like, it just went from like 2 up to like 5. It went from 2 to 5. The other went from like 3 to like 80. And so it's like an order of magnitude problem. And so we've got this kind of thing where it's like almost no one has the time and or money and or internet clout to like make this happen. And then the people who do when they put out music, everyone makes fun of them and says, "Oh wow, that isn't good. You have followers, but your music isn't good." No one offers to help them, and then they just give up and say, "Well, it's good I have followers." It's like there's this huge misalignment. The fans don't want that. The fans don't want Megadeth putting out 800 records. Like, I mean, I like Megadeth and I do want them putting out more records, but like, I don't want the only rock records I'm excited about every year to be bands that have been around for 30 years. That's not good for this thing. So if you care about rock, actually try and help. Make me obsolete, but you won't. I'm inevitable. But I would like to see you at least try. I'd like to see you at least try. Adding this in, let's just look at the comments real quick. Imagine how hundreds of years of old composers from different countries would feel knowing they're all lumped into the term classical. Shocking. Seems like great minds think alike. Mr. Beato, this guy says he's a black musician, middle-aged, and new genres call things different names. Even if you think yacht rock is stupid, it's a blessing to have relevance for new music listeners because good music is good music no matter the vernacular slapped onto it. Just rock on, brothers. Peace. Yada, yada, yada. I'm in a band. I'm the drummer called Orleans, and I don't understand your outrage. Keep up the good work. Happy New Year. We actually like the term, not offended by it. All I know is when I type yacht rock in my Spotify search, the playlist I find gives me hours of pure listening enjoyment. When I was young, this genre was called soft rock. I was too young to care. I just called it good music. Anyone who works in or around a record store these days will tell you Steely Dan and Toto albums were basically garbage, and now they're going out the door at inflated prices. What's the kicker is it's actually kids buying them. The manufactured genre of yacht rock is directly responsible for this resurgence and even for making guys like Christopher Cross look cool again. Actually, was he ever cool before today? For 2 decades, bands like this were completely out of the picture, and the opposite of cool. I understand Rick's sentiment, like hair metal originated as a derogatory term, but it's clearly directing a new generation to amazing music they otherwise wouldn't even know. And that's the main thing you need to get. That's the main thing is that, oh, look, they agree with Connor. Shocker. Shocker. This is insane. I mean, it's just, but, you click the video. Anyways, if you like the video, there's going to be 2 more videos popping up. There's a thing here. You can go check out my band, Black Licorice. You can go to newrockdynasty.com. Reach out to me. Leave a comment if you have anything to say. Like the video if you indeed liked the video. And go talk to me. Come talk to me. Like, actually talk to me in the comments here. Like, I don't mean that as a joke. Like, talk to me. Go follow me on Instagram. The link's in the thing below. Or go to newrockdynasty.com. Message me on there. Go to Instagram. Message me on there. I made a video about Rick Beato like a month ago. And this guy in North Carolina, Bear Knox Music, he sent me a giant message. I started talking back and forth with him. Next thing I know, we're talking on a podcast. I'm thinking of moving to Atlanta, where Rick Beato is. And I might have to make a road trip up to go meet my friend Bear Knox. And that all happened because he commented on Instagram or messaged me on Instagram, and then we started talking, and then we podcasted, and then... So all this is to say, leave a comment, leave a like, leave a video. Do the thing. And if you're good at rock stuff and you want rock to come back, you're a young person or you know, whatever, leave it below. But this is insane. We need to do better.